I'm not going to give you all that.
What did they do to create that communication-wise and everything like that?
What did our guys do?
Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown.
Well, the communication on that is, a scramble drill that we do every day, right? That they do every day. We had a couple big plays on broken plays. That's where Jalen Hurts is so dangerous. He's able to run on a scramble play. He's able to throw on scramble plays. So made a lot of good plays like that. Obviously, that one was one of them. Had multiple. I think we had one to Dallas, one to Devontae for a big gain, one to AJ on another third down. So there was a bunch of those. And scramble plays, John, don't always look the same, right? Sometimes, if there's a void in the deep zone, you can take it high. Sometimes if there's not, you take it back. Sometimes you just flash with the quarterback. But those are things that we work tirelessly on as a unit, as a team, as a coaching staff, and because we know we have the abilities to make plays and big plays off of that. Well, our philosophy is always going to be do whatever we got to do to win games every single time, and then we do what we got to do to identify problems. Like, we're going to be so excited anytime we win a game. And we really don't care how it looks. But then it's getting back, and we had a little bit of a mini bye to be able to look at some things, and those were some of the things that we came up with. Does that mean it's going to look like that every week? No. Different weeks call for different things, but that was a direction we wanted to go, and we'll continue to look at some things. Yeah, I think we've obviously been in the gun for a long time in our offense. It's just a change of some of the things that we've done. We've been very successful in the gun, and we're just trying to find ways to get things going, different ways. Today it was, hey, try to get under center some. Still want to be able to, run the ball more effectively and more efficiently than we did today. But that's on all of us as coaches, as players. But it gives you obviously something a little different. I won't get into all the things that we know that it gives us. But there's a time for it. There's also time to be back in the gun and running from there because, we've made a lot of plays that way as well.
Nick, Jalen made a ton of big plays today on third down, fourth down. As a head coach, what type of love do you have a quarterback in those big moments? That's something makes a big play.
Yeah, I think that's a stat that's never. I don't know. We always look at just like passing yards, and we look at like touchdowns. Like today, obviously, we had a lot of passing yards, but he's always clutch in those moments. It's why I have the confidence to go for it on the first drive on a 4th and 4, because the guys will make plays. Like, I know a lot of things. I think there's sometimes you watch a game, it's like analytics say you should go for it here. Do you trust your players in those moments? That's what you lean on. You listen. It's a piece of the puzzle. You listen to the analytics, a piece of the puzzle. You have trust in your players. You have trust in the play call. You have trust in the offensive line. That's what gives you confidence to do that. And Jalen obviously gives you a lot of confidence to be able to do that. And every time we get a 4th down conversion, I look at him and I say, hey, I trust you in these scenarios. Thanks for making me right, because he makes you right in those. That's good coaching is your players going out and making plays, and them making plays makes you look like a good coach. That's for sure. We're just pumped to get out of a really hostile place. A lot of credit to this stadium, this team, those fans. Coming out of a hostile place with a win. We're always looking, do whatever we got to do to win, and then find ways to get better. And that's the players through practice, through their preparation. That's the coaches through our self scouts and our, and also our preparation and game planning.
You came out running and then shifted. Was that the plan, or was that an adjustment?
Yeah, obviously it adjusted as the game went. I think the offensive coaches did a phenomenal job of making adjustments at halftime, and throughout the game. They saw something on the big post to Smitty, and Smitty went out and Jalen went out, made a big time throw, big time catch. And so, again, Jalen has a knack for throwing those deep balls, and our guys can run and get under them. So they saw something where the middle of the field was open. A lot of respect for that coordinator. Coach Flores is a phenomenal coordinator. He had us up all night. those offensive coaches were sleeping in the building. They're late all night because of the problems and the issues that they create. So a lot of respect to them. They made us work really, obviously, made us get our money's worth this week.
I know, obviously, you're not going to reveal all the injuries of it, but you did have your best passing game after the 10-day mini bye. Do you feel like the things you worked on, things you discovered, were the reason you were able to come out with such success passing the ball?
It's always it's never just one thing in this game, right? It's a combination of coaches putting guys in positions to make plays and players making plays. That's always what this game's is about. I love our process coming off of a bye week or off of a Thursday game. We'll continue to try to improve that process. We got another one coming up after this, a game against a division opponent coming up this week. We'll work our butts off and see what we can do going forward.
What defense you kept on the field goals on 5 or 6? What was the difference there?
That was huge. That's why it's so important, right? I know we missed a couple of tackles. I know Andrew missed the tackle on Jefferson. Jefferson, man, that guy is a phenomenal football player. You watch it all week. Besides our guys, I'm not sure there's anyone else in the league other than him. I got a lot of respect for a lot of guys in the league. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. I want our guys at all times. I love our guys. But man, he's a good football player. But the hustle on that play to get him down was big, and that's why you have to play with relentless effort. We know, you always have a chance to stop them because of some of the issues that we create on defense and the way the guys are playing down there. I thought that our run defense, did a lot of good things. They obviously thought so too because they think they were 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. They passed it every time, so they saw something in that as well. So when you get in those scenarios and you're able to get stops, those are huge. Like we work at those a lot, right? Those 4-point plays that we kind of call it down there, because that can, just like a turnover, those 4-point plays in a red zone can make swings as well. So great job, Vic, with Vic, putting the guys in positions to succeed, and then our guys going out in there and making plays. They made a really good throw and catch that just was off, and it really helped us, right? On the one to Hawkinson, he's a really good player. This team's got a lot of good players. I think the world of Kevin O'Connell and the coaching job that he does, but huge to be able to get those stops in the red zone.
I know you look at each game and said, you guys really haven't been able to run the ball this year at any level close to it. How do you get that going?
Yeah, again, find a way to win. And then identify issues and get better from it. Like, I know how I felt for the last 2 weeks not winning, so I'm never going to take a win for granted ever again. I think sometimes in the midst of it, you can be like, man, we'll be there, we'll get there. But we're going to enjoy the heck out of this thing. And then we're going to identify the things that we need to work on. I think we've had some negative plays that obviously put you behind there, and so. We'll be, but, with some of the things that they were doing, it opens up some other things, like it did in the past game. Like, we're hit Smitty over the middle. They didn't have a lot of guys in the middle when they brought all that pressure, and, you have to avoid zones sometimes. Now, Coach Flores does a great job of, bringing guys and then dropping guys, but still, when you're bringing guys and dropping guys, then they don't get into the middle zone of where they are, and we were able to hit. Jalen was able to buy a little time and find Smitty on the big one over the middle. So, hopefully that stuff balances out. Again, we're going to find ways to win, and then sitting at 5-2, try to find ways to win this next game and keep getting better from it.
It sounds like Big Dave is coming back. Is that your expectation?
We're always looking for ways to improve. Howie does an unbelievable job there. I don't think we get into, after a game and game day, I don't think we get into any roster moves right now or anything like that, and we'll see what happens. But I always love how he does everything he can do to help this, how he's so relentless. I feel like this team's relentless. The coaches are relentless. The players are relentless. Howie's relentless. Mr. Laurie's relentless in ways to try and find ways to get better.
The physicality of your team after the Giants game was called into question a little bit. How do you think you guys responded today? Were you more satisfied with the physicality and toughness of the team?
I think that it's important to know that we don't really put a lot of stock in anything other than what's being said in our building. And we know we have physically tough guys. We know that's the brand of football that we want to play. We know anytime we don't do that, we want to get back on track there. And so it's just about, going to work in the building. Try to eliminate every distraction that could possibly be anything that we listen to on the outside or anything that we listen to anywhere is just a distraction for us getting better. So it is really just try to, and listen, we're human. We listen. There's things that guys hear. I get it with the questions that we get asked and stuff like that. But try to block out as much as you can and focus on us and our process and ways to get better.
All right, thanks, folks.
Thanks, guys.